Let's talk about the unexpected dark side of motorcycle riding. No one tells you this. My channel is usually positive, so let's do something negative today. Let's talk about the dark side, the downside, the negatives of motorcycle riding. I can't help myself, I'll try and put a positive twist on it. Everybody tells you all of the good things, the benefits, the fantastic experience that you have riding a motorcycle. Have to agree, but nobody tells you about the negatives. Now, after 40 plus years of riding a motorcycle on the road, I'm going to start the discussion. Comment and let me know about your experiences. Number one is speed. We all love it, don't we? But your driver's license is in danger if you use excessive speed. What a bummer. So that's a negative. Your license is in danger because every single motorcycle in the world, including the biggest, fattest, slowest Harley Davidson, can probably break all of the speed limits in first gear. No, maybe not first gear on some of those Harleys, but certainly I've owned plenty of motorcycles that in first gear can break all of the nation's speed limits. And there are often 6 gears. That's a negative because it's so easy, so easy to get yourself into trouble. Here where I live in the state of Victoria in Australia, the laws are draconian and the enforcers, no, let's not call them enforcers because that's a masculine term. Let's say the government simps and brown noses that dish out the fines. They're too narrow-minded to see that it's just a tax grab. There's only myself and 4 other people in the world who think that way. Most of the community actually are backing that type of draconian behaviour. That's my opinion, and it's one of the negatives of motorcycle riding. Now, the other negative of speed is it is actually dangerous if you crash. It's just that the speed, unless you're doing triple the speed limit around the corner, it's not the speed's fault that you're going to crash. It's usually something else, but it's going to create a lot of damage and havoc in your life. If you are going faster, ooh, it's going to hurt. So speed is a negative of motorcycling. So the big question is, do you want to take risks in your life? I personally believe that it's good for human beings to take risks, and I don't necessarily mean dangerous risks like that, but there is a danger in everything you do. Or do you want to just sit on the couch and watch TV? And last but not least, the other negative about speed is it is addictive. You get used to going faster, and the faster you go, the more used to it you get, and that becomes normal. And when that extra speed becomes normal, it just makes you want to go faster to get away from normal. There has to be a limit on the road. You see, if everybody was fit and sharp, surely we could raise that speed limit to, I was going to say 200, but surely on the freeway, on a good, smooth, no pothole freeway, you'd have to be doing at least 140, wouldn't you? That would be a sensible speed limit. Now, number 2, another negative of motorcycling is you are vulnerable. It's your vulnerability because you are the smallest, tiniest, weakest, little insipid object on the road. The cars are bigger than you and the trucks are massively bigger than you. It's dangerous. Now think about it this way, whenever there's an argument on the road, you're going to lose. They're going to squash you like a bug. So keep calm and keep that temper in check. You're also vulnerable because you've got to face little simple things like potholes. Unlike a car with 4 wheels, you hit a pothole, you're going to feel it. At the very least, you're going to damage your rim. But the potential for death when you hit a pothole is much greater on a motorcycle. You think you're going to see them all, you won't because you'll be going too quick. You just won't. The more experience you have, the easier it is to get around them and to spot them coming up in the distance. If you crash, it hurts, but if your skin peels off from a slide, you're really going to cry and you're going to destroy that manly image that you've cultivated over the years. So wear Resurgence Gear motorcycle clothing. It'll save you in a slide. It looks great, just like casual clothing. Check this out. And remember, if they've got this much faith in their clothing, you've got to get on board. Wear Old Not Dead supporter gear. It's not going to save you in a slide, but you are going to look super cool wearing it. We've got t-shirts. I'm wearing one now. Singlets, caps, stickers, patches. Look at that. Old Not Dead beanie.
Nice and warm, keeping me ears crisp.
We've got alpaca wool beanies. How's that? And talk about warm, we've even got hoodies that are so warm you don't need a hood. Wear some Old Not Dead gear and show the world you've still got it. If you're buying from overseas, you'll find our merchandise and postage dirt cheap because of the exchange rate. Australian dollar's been sent down the toilet. You're getting a bargain. Now you're very vulnerable because you've got to deal with all of the different slippery surfaces on the road. Oil that's come out of vehicles, water when it rains. Both of those are going to make it a lot slipperier, especially on those white lines and big white painted arrows. I did it the other day on the Evo, coming around a roundabout, hitting the brakes, almost lost it, skidding on one of those big white arrows. It's all manageable, but it's just a pain in the butt and it's a negative. But there's also gravel and sand and lawn clippings, so many things that can get you undone because the contact patch between you and being alive are these two little pieces of rubber that are on the road, and the dynamics of that are very different to what you'd have in a car. Now, what else is there? Here in Victoria, we've got these things that I call cheese graters that line the roads. Someone in their wisdom, let's call him a fuckwit, has actually thought, well, let's put a whole series of wires along the side of the road, even where it's not necessary. Let's just line our freeways, because after all, who would want to lose control and go off the road into a lovely grassed embankment, perhaps skid on that, settle nicely on your bum, and look at the sunshine, look at the flowers? No, we want to hit those wire barriers and be sliced in half because we don't like living anymore. That's a negative of motorcycling. No, that's a negative of the drop kicks who thought of the idea to save a little bit of money. What a bunch of... don't put in the comments. If you put rude words in the comments, YouTube will automatically weed them out and the comments won't be seen. So if you want to insult me, say it nicely and then YouTube will allow it through. I'll read it and oh my God, I'll be hurt. See how negative this video is? Comment something negative, just easy on the swear words. Now you're vulnerable to the old police blitz. What they do is they say, well, motorcycle riders have been dying at alarming numbers. There's 2 more this year than there were last year.
So you want me to lose my job, lose my fucking license, be a dead shit? Right, you're a dead shit already. What are you talking about? All right, you got no hope. Now keep your mouth shut, Baldy.
They don't take into account things like who was drunk when they were riding their motorcycle, who was just a bit of a fool and said to their mate, yeah, I know how to ride a 210 horsepower Ducati. Give us a quick ride. Wink, wink, I've never been on a bike before. Bang. Don't take those statistics into account. They just say people died on motorcycles. And look, the obvious one is there's a lot of middle-aged men who haven't ridden a motorcycle for 20, 30, 40 years. They rode one when they were 18 for a month and a half. And even the newer Harley Davidsons are way too powerful for that. They jump straight on and bang. It's an accident waiting to happen. Now, none of that's reflected in the statistics. The police have a blitz. And because they're lovely people, the police, what they want to do is punish you and me for something that we haven't actually done. Safety blitz is code for let's pick on motorcycle riders, let's ping them for anything we can, because obviously a noisy exhaust riding on a lonely country road is going to be a danger to your safety. So safety blitz means pick on motorcycles, you're vulnerable. So let's put a positive spin on the highway patrol. Imagine the highway patrol pulling you over and saying, hey, sorry for interrupting your day. We've just been intercepting politicians and union bosses. We've also been looking at company executives that have financial links to them. So it's been a really long, boring day. We saw you ride past on your Harley. We just wanted to stop you and say, wow, what a fantastic bike, and check it out for ourselves. I might get one. Now, if they did more of that, they wouldn't have a recruiting problem. Nobody likes the tax collector. Number 3, the weather. That's an easy one. It's an obvious one. Let's turn it into a negative. It's tough being on a motorcycle with the weather because you're facing pretty much extremes. I've been in situations where I've been so cold that I can't actually use the brakes on my motorcycle, the front brake on my motorcycle, because when you get really cold, you lose control of your muscles. And in the particular situations I've been thinking of, you start dribbling and your hands just don't work. And even though your brain is saying, come on, squeeze, nothing's happening. It's very dangerous getting that cold. And I've also been at the other extreme where I've suffered from heat stroke. It's very easy to get here in Australia in summer. It can be like 42 degrees. Well, that's not that common. It can be like 38, 39, 40 degrees. That's more common. Wearing black protective gear and a black helmet, it's very easy in the middle of the day to suffer heat exhaustion or heat stroke. When that happens, you lose concentration very fast. You lose all your strength. You start to feel sick. You need to lie down. It's very dangerous not recognizing the symptoms as they come up if you continue riding. So you're very vulnerable to the extremes of the weather. But even just on a day-to-day basis, the negatives are you put on too many clothes, you start to sweat, the wind gets in, you get cold. You don't want to get cold because that makes you tense up. It's very difficult on a motorcycle to be safe when you are tense. If you get wet and you don't have the right gear on, you'll get cold very quickly, and again, you'll tense up very fast. And the weather can get very wild. Even the wind will blow you around on a motorcycle. You sort of need to compensate for that by leaning or putting your body weight or the weight of the motorcycle against the wind, and that can be very scary when you hit a patch where the wind dies off and you have a sudden jolt. They're all things that can be overcome, but you need to account for them, and that's one of the negatives of motorcycle riding. It's very easily overcome with experience. If you're new to it, it can come as a shock, and the weather is one of the negatives if you are new to motorcycling. But I'm going to slip in a quick positive, and it is beautiful to be outside instead of inside all the time, especially for somebody who sits at a desk for a long period of time. It's one of the reasons I try my hardest to wear an open face helmet for most of the year. You really are connecting with the elements. Being outside is a wonderful experience, irrespective of the extremes of the weather. Got to finish on a positive. And number 4, the absolute inconvenience of a motorcycle. This is something that people often avoid telling you. If I just want to go down the street to the shop, sometimes I just want to go down the street quickly and get something. It is a major event, especially when it's cold, to go on your motorcycle. I've got to go and find the right clothes, get changed, put them on, open the garage, get the bike out, blah, 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 just to go a couple of minutes down the road. I often go around a sort of a huge extended block to get to the shop when I'm doing that, because the motorbike doesn't even warm up going to the shop. And then you've got to take stuff off at the other end, and then you've got to put it back on again, and you've got to be able to carry things, and then you've got to come back and get changed again. It's just a pain in the butt. This is a lot easier in summer because you don't have to put on as much gear as normal. But of course, if you want to really technically be as safe as possible, you need to put on the correct motorcycle clothing. It's a pain in the ass. And what about if you want to go somewhere that's a little dressier, perhaps work or a social occasion? You often get off your motorcycle looking very disheveled. In an open face helmet, if you're riding for more than half an hour or so, you've often got the soot of the road on your face. And, it just doesn't look that great if you're running into a meeting with your beautiful hairstyle messed up, black bits wherever you haven't got your sunglasses on. It doesn't look that great. It's a negative. And then there's the obvious inconvenience of you can't actually carry a lot. So you might be on your way home from work on your motorcycle. You'd normally stop into the shop to get this, that, and the other thing. You can't do it because you've got no way to carry it. And if you're an experienced motorcyclist, I know there are ways around it. I tuck my jacket into my pants and stuff things down the front, or I just hang bags off my arms. You can still ride, but it's very inconvenient. Compared to a car, you can get whatever you want on the way home, throw it in the boot and off you go. Now, another inconvenience is you can't take passengers. You can take one passenger, but it becomes a bit of an event. You can't just say, jump into the car, let's go. And you can't obviously take more than one passenger unless you live in an Asian country where you can load your bike up with as many as will fit. Now, number 5 is the cost. People say they're expensive to run. I disagree with that. But what you've got to keep in mind is it's usually a second vehicle, so that's what makes it expensive. Because if you only had a car, you'd have one set of bills, one load of maintenance. With a motorcycle, everything is an extra on top, so it is a more expensive option. If you're getting somebody else to service your bike, well, it depends on what car you have, but I've found it's roughly the same, if not a little bit more. Tyres are where the biggest extra expense comes in, depending on how sticky your tyres are. The stickier they are, the more often you've got to change them. And I have had tyres in the past where you've got to change them every 4, 5, 6,000 kilometres. So that can get expensive. But again, it depends on the riding style that you have. And the harder you ride your bike, the more often maintenance, including tyres, has got to be changed or performed. So I guess in terms of cost, the negative isn't that great. It really depends on your financial position and what you want to spend your money on. But if you've got a Harley Davidson, then there's the extra compulsory modifications that you've got to do. That's costly. that can be costly. A lot of people like just buying things for their Harley all the time. It's like they've got to have a monthly spend. I need a chrome bit there, and I need a chrome bit there. Got to get something every month. That's an added expense. But generally speaking, most people add or change things on their Harley Davidson, so that's an added cost. Because unlike a car or unlike another brand of motorcycle, you don't just leave it as it is and ride it. Now let's end on a positive. You might already be a motorcycle rider, but you might want to become one. You'll notice that as a motorcyclist, a lot of people admire you. It's like they're saying, hey, they're doing something dangerous, and you get a modicum of respect for that. It's also fantastic socially if you've got a Harley Davidson. Usually wherever you go, if you park and smile at somebody, they'll want to come and talk to you about your motorcycle. People do admire them and they want to come and talk to you. They like to talk to you about your motorcycle. It can be very social, and it's even better when there are other motorcyclists around. There's always a lot to talk to. The social side of it can be very rewarding. That's a positive. And that's why I'm harping on about old, not dead. Motorcycling keeps you young. It's a massive positive. And if you like today's video, you're gonna love the video, 9 motorcycle hacks that I wish I had have known earlier.
Using all that's left, somewhere in your chest, on your sweetheart hit a mist. Oh,